Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast. This is a breaking news special edition episode of Disney Coast to Coast. I have Kyle Burbank here with me. The day is May 18th, 2023, and holy hella, there was some Disney news coming out today that we just needed to talk about, but I am curious, Kyle Burbank, at what point, how much news had to come out before you thought to yourself, I'm going to be hearing from Jeff?
Well, the Lake Nona one was pretty big, and then the second piece of news came out after that, and then at that point, I'm like, okay, I feel like that's probably like he'll want to talk about this. Like, I'm already like formulating my thoughts, knowing that we're going to talk about it, even if it is in 2 weeks. And then I thought the day was over because those were back to back, like an hour apart. And then I checked my RSS feed and realized that no, it's gotten worse. And this is after we'd already decided that we're going to do a special edition. They piled it on.
They did indeed. So let's just start with the news that after only being open for just over a year, the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser will hold its final voyage on September 28th through the 30th, 2023. Disney has stated that they want to deliver immersive experiences at an even greater scale, so we are taking this creative spirit and all we've learned with this premium boutique experience of 100 rooms to focus on future initiatives that can reach more of our guests and fans. The price point of this boutique hotel was one of the key factors that turned away many guests, with prices going as high as $5,999 for 4 guests. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, of course, if you don't know, is at Walt Disney World. It represented a first-of-its-kind new form of highly immersive entertainment. In fact, if you want to hear about it, Kyle Burbank did indeed do it and talked about it all on this show. An honest talk about the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is episode. Can you guess what episode number it is, Kyle? Let's just say it's an ironic number for this.
I guess it'd be 9 something, right?
It would be 911, episode 911. Emergency, episode 911.
Thank you I was like 66? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, episode 911, you can hear Kyle talk all about his experience on the Galactic Starcruiser. But ladies and gentlemen, like, it's closing. By the way, they have paused new bookings because obviously this is going to have a swell of new people wanting to do it before it goes away. They've paused bookings because they do need to rebook some guests. In fact, I know somebody who listens to this show who had a voyage booked for October and now probably won't be able to go. And so they're going to try and rebook those people first, which is the right thing to do. And then I guess May 26th, assuming there's more space, they'll make it available to other people. This is bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, the phrase that I told you, I was like, the episode title will be Shocked, Not Shocked, because that's basically what it is. Like, everyone, for as long as we talked about the Galactic Starcruiser, we're like, it sounds interesting, but this doesn't seem sustainable. But I would have thought that they would try other things besides discounts, which even the discounts, they kind of slow played, you know, like they had more like targeted groups before making like a generic, making it available to more and more people. But I would have thought, you know, the things that we've been talking about, doing like 1-day voyages, doing special like daytime experiences, you know, trying other things before just shutting it all down. And I also want to point out, if you're wondering about the timing there, the new Disney fiscal year starts on October 1st.
That's right. That's right. So here are my thoughts. Number one, I was shocked that they announced this news without having a plan B to announce alongside it. And that whole, we've learned stuff from it. Sorry, that's not a plan B. We want to bring this out to more people. So number one, you want to bring it out to more people because not enough people can afford what you're doing. So I was like, oh, I can't believe they don't have a plan B in place to announce. But then I was like, you know what? This feels like we just went through in the Broadway musical theater world. We just went through the closing of the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, which, unlike Galactic Starcruiser, had a nice long run of over 35 years. But they had announced they were going to close in February, I believe, of this year. And then the second they announced that the influx of ticket sales were crazy and they extended into April of this year. And made, you know, millions more doing that. Now, I thought maybe that would be their method to their madness here by, like, you know, making the announcement and then expecting to kind of extend, not forever, but maybe 3 more months or something. But mentioning the fiscal year thing, I think you're right. I think it might actually be doomsday.
It's funny. We had the exact same thoughts. We even compared it to Broadway, the exact same thing, the way that shows get extended Wednesday. Tickets in flux. I mean, personally, hearing this news, I was interested in maybe could I go back and do it again. But then again, I feel like the people who are going to go do it now, it's going to be like very like hardcore. So, and not to mention the cost of that. But no, I mean, as I said on that episode, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I got to do it, especially now that it's closing. Like, it just makes me more excited, and I guess happier would be the word, that I had the chance to experience it. And regarding the price, like obviously, yes, it could be cheaper to some degree because I'm sure they're making profit. That's how that works. But at the same time, like, not that necessarily what you get as the guest makes sense when you add it all up, but just thinking about how much they need to spend just on, those cast members and on food and on, only having 100 hotel rooms, which is, is boutique, as they say. So I'm not sure how much cheaper this experience could get. And maybe even the discounting makes it to where this isn't economically work for them.
Yeah, so the discount that I've seen everywhere, whether you're Disney Vacation Club or Disney Visa card holder, or I think Club 33 was included, I could be wrong about that, or cast member, it seems to be 30% is the number they're willing to decrease it to. So if that's the number, that means 30% is a discount where they're still getting some sort of profit. Obviously not what they want to be making. They're certainly not losing on the deal, or else I don't think they would offer that much of a discount. But even 30% doesn't seem to be enough for a lot of people. 40% is the number where I start to get excited. You're like, oh my God, 40% is almost half off. 30% is too close to 25%. Like there's some weird, it's like why things are $9.99 versus $10. There are some just weird mental things with numbers. And now 99 isn't even 99 anymore. It's 97. You're not 99 doesn't do it. It's the 997. So it's just interesting how the human brains work in that way. So the 30% doesn't intrigue me that much. Having said that, I'd be lying if I didn't say for a moment I thought to myself, oh my gosh, could I make this work? It is. If I could go end of September, I could also get in my Halloween haunts then, but it's also like the busiest time of year for me. So I'm like, I don't know if I actually could. But in any case.
So you're saying you don't want to go on a Galactic Starcruiser adventure with me?
I mean, I'm not saying I don't. I'm saying the timing would be difficult. I'm not ruling it out, but I would say it's probably unlikely for me.
Yeah.
But if you really want to talk off mic later.
I don't know. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but I was joking.
Okay. Well, you don't love me that much, I guess. All right.
I think it'd be great content. We could make all the TikToks, Jeffrey.
All right. That's what I live for. Well, so here's some other things that went through my head is like, I don't know about you. I don't know if Laughing Place published one of these. I certainly wrote one of these articles for Attractions Magazine when Galactic Starcruiser opened. It was the blue sky. What else could be done like this? Universal could do a Harry Potter thing like this. This is going to stop the industry in their tracks. If anybody out there is considering this sort of highly immersive entertainment, they're either saying cancel it altogether, or we need to do this at a much lower cost because people ain't buying it. And listen, I think it's a good lesson that Disney learned. All Disney fans aren't rich. All Star Wars fans aren't rich. You went through the rich people in about a year. And it's a very, very, very short period of time, which is crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what comes next. We did ask Disney, so you're saying Starcruiser's closing. So is it just this experience? Do you have plans? And they said they didn't have any current plans. Having been there, my thought is as to whether or not it could become a regular hotel experience or, something closer to a regular hotel experience is yes, I think they would have to gut a lot of the things that don't make sense in a regular hotel. So like the whole engineering room and all the kind of the fun stuff that has more to do with the adventures, you'd have to gut that and turn that into something that actually does have something to do with the regular hotel room. Cause you can make a gym or, you're going to need a quick service thing. Cause even if you keep the dining room as just like a buffet, you'll probably still want another dining option unless you put something closer. You'd have to have a walkway to the parks because the box truck thing I guess you could have a shuttle and take off the box truck part of it. So yeah, I think there are some ways, I'm sure that there's all sorts of back rooms and stuff that you don't see as a guest. But I guess that I would say I think it'd be worth doing that, because I do think that the rooms are actually like, they're a little small, but they're nice. Like it's still a cool experience just going into the room and having that as your hotel room, even if you don't do the full LARPing and everything.
I would not be surprised if there are plans in place to just do tours of this right now. And the reason I don't, if that was their plan, because listen, it looks like a cool space, and it's something that, like, you know, VIP tours at the Disney parks can get up to like $250, if not more. I think people would pay that just to tour the space and kind of be told about the creation of this thing. If that is something that they are considering even, I don't think they would announce it until it was fully booked, because I think there are a lot of people who would say, okay, I kind of just want to see the space. I don't need the full experience. Don't book, because I'll just do the tour. So that was thought one. Another thought was, how close is it to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Because could it become an extension of that? Could they keep the restaurant open and make it part of Galaxy's Edge? Could they, you know, even some of those experiences that you're like, oh, you got to gut that, could that become part of Galaxy's Edge? Basically making the rooms useless, but, you know, for now, make some although I guess that doesn't really make them money unless it's a high-end restaurant where they could charge a lot.
I think it's better the other way, and I don't know how close it is. It wasn't a very short box truck experience, but that doesn't mean that it's like, maybe it's just because it's not a straight shot. They
drive you in circles like 20 times around to make it feel like a longer adventure, don't
it could
they?
Be, maybe. I do want to show you, my friend reminded me, because he actually stayed at this. There's a hotel at a theme park in France.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
clearly inspired by Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. So I guess if you're really wanting this type of experience without the full cost, you could fly to France, and presumably or possibly it could be even cheaper when you add up everything.
And then go to Disneyland Paris.
Fun. Yeah.
Is that like a full experience?
I think it's just a regular hotel from what I can tell, and he didn't say anything about it being a show. And it does look a little bit different, but even like the logo that they use on these pillows, you're like, okay, that's kind of like the Chandrilla. And this starts at 184 euros per person. So definitely a lot cheaper than the name brand version.
Yes. So, and when did that open?
Shortly after.
Okay. So it was definitely in response to. Interesting. So listen, like, this is one of those things that, number one, I'm curious, and obviously we don't know, we're speculating here, but like, do you think Bob Iger, I know this is very much a Chapek thing, and, you know, that's not a secret. Do you think Iger ever thought this could work? Or do you, like, I don't know, it's crazy. I mean, all fans were like, this is too expensive. Like, that's just what we've always heard, is this is too expensive. We're not going to give up a week in Europe to do 2 days at Walt Disney World. Yeah, well, I guess, you know, maybe the cost of what you're going to have to charge people isn't what you're thinking of the entire time until you sit down. You're like, oh, that's kind of hard. Like, I guess I don't have any direct experience with that, but I could imagine. I'm also not a giant company that should know better, but you know, you have that blue sky, and they're like, wouldn't it be great if we did this? And it's like, yeah, well, we should have this and this and this, and think of like what you would want in this experience, and then kind of working backwards instead of, you know, it's the one thing that Disney did without focusing on budget cuts and stuff like that, and then realized, oh, we made it too expensive, so now we've priced people out. Not saying that that's exactly how it happened, but it'd be funny. It's ironic if that's what happened, is that, you know, people give them crap for cutting the budget and cutting things from Galaxy's Edge and things like that, or saving the experience. Like we were talking about, some of the stuff should have been free in Galaxy's Edge and they saved it for the hotel. And I defend that to a certain degree, because like I was saying on the episode when we talked about it, it's like, I don't think it would work in Galaxy's Edge either. I think it would already be gone from there, just because I don't think it would, the dynamics are right. Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the things that I feel like they learned creating Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was, hey, we kind of promised all these cool things, and at some point they realized, ooh, this isn't affordable. We can't do this. So the compromise was, well, let's charge a bunch for it. And like I said, listen, there are lots of Star Wars fans. There are lots of Disney fans. They don't all have, full wallets. So that's the thing. And listen, a lot of talented people put a lot of hard work into this thing. It's very sad. I would be extraordinarily sad if this was like a dream project for me. There were Imagineers that Star Wars is like their biggest fandom. And this was a dream come true working on it. And it's closing. Far too soon, frankly. But it's just the reality. People aren't buying into it. I get it. I hope everybody who really, really, really wanted to experience it got to or gets to. But yeah, this is a reality. This is, I think Disney learned a hard lesson, and hopefully they keep it in mind when they keep raising prices on stuff. So that's all I got to say about it. How about you, Kyle?
I'll miss it. I wish they would have gone with a different show instead of just closing it down. But I'll always have my jacket and the Gaia soundtrack on Spotify. Yeah,
this is going to go down in history and just the theme park and themed entertainment industry. And it's going to be one of those things 20 years from now, somebody's going to see you, Kyle, and be like, oh my gosh, you got to experience that? Like, that's incredible. And it is incredible. And
I was going to tell you Liza Minnelli outlived Starcruiser, but I have to wait till September, so I can't do that.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to actually make sure the Liza Minnelli Outlives Twitter account is aware of this news, because that you're 100% right. They need to tweet that. Check out @Liza Minnelli Outlives on Twitter if you don't know what we're talking about. Alrighty, let's move on, because in 2021, Disney announced its intention to move Walt Disney Imagineering and other Disney Parks experiences and products employees from California to Lake Nona, Florida. This move was met with some backlash from Imagineers who did not want to relocate to Florida. Today, in a letter from Josh D'Amaro, chairman of Disney Parks Experiences and Products, he revealed that plans to relocate Imagineering are no longer going ahead. D'Amaro attributed the decision to considerable changes that have occurred since the project's announcement, including new leadership and changing business conditions. He went on to state that, quote, "This was not an easy decision to make, but I believe it's the right one." Didn't he say something similar when he made the decision in the first place? Anyway, employees will no longer be asked to relocate, and those that have, yes, people have already picked up their entire lives and moved them across the country. Those that have will be spoken to individually, including the possibility of being moved back, because moving across the country is that simple, folks. D'Amaro then interestingly noted Disney's plan to invest $17 billion and create 13,000 jobs over the next 10 years in Florida, while saying, quote, "I hope we're able to do so." Disney CEO Bob Iger recently implied that Disney may pull its planned investments in Florida due to the ongoing feud and lawsuit with Governor Ron DeSantis. So, this is major news as well. Kyle, so they seem to be focusing on Imagineering and Disney Parks and Experiences and all that. Is that everything that was going to go into that campus, or are there some...
Yeah, I think they're scrapping the whole campus idea.
The whole campus is gone. Okay, I'm sure you do as well. I know people who quit Walt Disney Imagineering because of this. Oh, about a year ago. It was like, you either move or you quit. And I know people that quit. This is devastating.
Yeah. And again, it's another one of those things we all knew, because they postponed it to 2026 or something at some point.
Yeah, once Iger came back, I think he postponed it pretty immediately, right? Because of the...
I thought it was postponed before that.
Oh, was it? Okay.
When he was asked about it, is that still going to happen? He said... I'm not familiar with it. I'm gonna have to look it over. Because he came back in last November.
Wow. So, they didn't come straight out and say this was because of the feud and the lawsuits with DeSantis. So, but that's it, right?
It sounds like if it was already delayed before that, I think it just didn't make sense, especially in this climate. I have no idea, honestly. We could just talk about, yeah, you're right. It's frustrating for those people that we lost because of this. It's frustrating, even the people that stayed and had to move across the country, and then now I don't know if they have to move back or might have the opportunity to, but I don't know what they were thinking when they announced it. I don't know why they rushed it so much, because obviously it was so easy to delay. It's not built, so I don't know at what point they decided that they needed to rush people into moving, unless... it's all very confusing. And so I'm not surprised that it's not happening, but I don't know what was leading up to it in the first place.
Yeah, unless they wanted people to quit so that they didn't have to lay them off. That's the only thing I can think. If you quit, you don't get a severance package, I don't think. So it may have been one of those things where like, listen, we need to get rid of people. I'm not saying that's why the whole project was created in the first place, but I'm saying they might have seen some writing on the wall and been like, we got to do this. Let's, make this announcement so that people decide to leave on their own. I don't know. That's speculating. But I'm curious what the governor thinks of this. It's not good for the state. Oh, what did he say?
Oh, he said that it's no surprise that Disney doesn't have the money to come here with their falling stock price and some crap like that.
That man's a clown. Oh, gosh. Hilarious. And he may be our president. Oh, gosh. What the hell is wrong?
And his press secretary, I think, retweeted a podcast from Jim Hill. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like citing, like, I guess they were probably talking about, like how we all knew, like, hey, this is probably not going forward now that Bob Iger's back and stuff like that from November. So she's like, see, they're not pulling because of the way we treated them. They always were going to cancel it or something like that. I think that was her point.
All right. They're clowns. Anyway, so that's a thing. I truly feel sorry for all the people it affected, whether it was quitting your job, moving across the country, or even thinking you had to eventually move across the country. It's all very stressful.
I know. I'd be stressed if I thought I had to move to Florida.
I mean, I have zero interest in moving to that state for many reasons. One of them, the governor, and the weather.
The humidity offends me more than the governor, just slightly.
They both offend me equally. The only thing that would get me there, aside from theme parks, is there's some people I love there, and they know who they are, and I would love to see them more. But in any case, that's the news with that. And folks, it doesn't end there, because Disney, as we talked about in the previous House of Mouse headlines, we did mention how Disney Plus and Hulu were going to start pulling some material. But we didn't really have any specific titles or when this was going to happen. Well, it's happening as soon as May 26th. So what is that, like just over a week away?
Just over. So if they're gone on the 26th, as of this recording, you have 1 week.
So here's the list of stuff that will be gone from Disney Plus on May 26th. The Mysterious Benedict Society, original to Disney Plus. Big Shot, I think original to Disney Plus, right?
I'm going to say
I think all of these
Jeff.
are.
They're all of them. There you go.
Turner and Hooch. Willow. Wasn't Willow just released?
That was like a month or two ago, yeah.
The Making of Willow. Just Beyond. The World According to Jeff Goldblum. What the is happening here? A day one Disney Plus show with Jeff Goldblum. You don't cancel Jeff Goldblum. What on earth is happening? The One and Only Ivan. That's the thing I'm going to go check out. Bryan Cranston movie with an ape, right? That's what that is?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Haven't seen it yet. Love Bryan Cranston. It's been on my to watch list for a while. I will check that one out in the next week. Timmy Failure. Be Our Chef.
Oh, it gets worse. Just
Magic Camp. Oh. Howard. How dare they? Don Hahn's masterpiece. Okay, so this is the one that I will say. If you have not seen Howard, the documentary about Howard Ashman, directed by Disney legend Don Hahn, you must watch this before it leaves Disney Plus next week. It is phenomenal. If you want to hear more about it afterward, listen to episode 755 of Disney Coast to Coast. And Don Hahn came on the show to discuss Howard and how much it meant to him. And it's a beautiful film. By the way, of course, I've mentioned a couple episodes already, plus this news will be available in the show notes link. So check this episode's description for that. Howard, Kyle, Howard.
Yeah, I'll let you finish the list and then I'll share some thoughts.
Okay. Earth to Ned, Foodtastic, Stuntman, Disney Fairy Tale Weddings, Wolfgang, It's a Dog's Life with Bill Farmer, another Disney legend being removed from Disney Plus. It is called Disney Plus, right? I guess not Disney Legend Plus. And Best in Snow. It continues, folks, because Hulu will be removing some content on May 26th as well. Pistol, Dollface, The Quest, The Hot Zone, Why the Last Man, Maggie, Little Demon, The Premise, Love in the Time of Corona, Everything's Trash, and Best in Dough. Gotta admit, never heard of any of those shows. But this, nuts. Now, please share.
Yeah, so as we talked about last time, and I kind of speculated it would probably be originals instead of library content. This is all just gone now. You can't buy any of this stuff. Like, and it sucks because, like, in the case of Howard, that's the one I thought of the most. I'm sure Don had different options. He could have, gone to more festivals. He could have, find someone just to publish it on Blu-ray. He probably could have sold it himself on Amazon or something, and at least it would exist. Now he sold his film and it's not even going to exist. No one can see it anymore. It's not available. And Disney can't sell it off because they're taking a write-off on it.
Yeah, nobody can see it but pirates. So what this is doing is encouraging piracy. Like, quite literally.
Yeah. And, Mysterious Benedict Society is a series that I loved. If they sold it on Blu-ray, I would buy it. But it's now something that I'm not going to be able to watch anymore. And Willow just ended. Like we were saying, like, people may not even have a chance to start it. And it's already going away in a week.
I still don't quite understand how this saves them money.
Because they're able to write it off and say that they lost money on it. If it's still there, it still has the opportunity to make money. So they're just saying, okay, we're not going to make anything from this, so we're just going to call the whole thing off.
But even if it's like a year after its existence and it already existed on the platform, I don't know. That's an interesting legal loophole that is some interesting trickery going on. And why those titles?
I need to warn people as well. Like, this is what we know so far. But we asked Disney Plus and they would not commit to giving us a complete list. So there might be more now. There might be more next quarter because this is right before the end of the quarter, of course. So buckle up.
This honestly makes me want to cancel my Disney Plus and just use somebody else's password, because like between the commercials thing and this is ridiculous. These are some like heavy hitter titles. And I'm just pissed so much that like there is no place to watch this stuff anymore. It's crazy. Anywho, so that's news. Guess what, Kyle? It ain't quite done yet, because I do want to mention, as we all know, the Writers Guild of America strike is going on, the WGA strike. And living right down the street from the Walt Disney Company, I see picketers out there every single day. But today, May 18th, 2023, they had a Newsies strike picket out there. Seize the day at Disney, calling all Newsies. Grab your caps and vests and join us for an afternoon picket and sing-along Thursday, May 18th from 3 to 5 with special guests. Because when you've got 100 writers singing, who can hear a lousy CEO, and the world will know. Anyway, so that happened. I'm a little ashamed that I didn't go down the street to take part, frankly.
I'm a little disappointed in you as well. But you got to watch the video on Twitter, so there you go.
I did, and the day got away from me. So, I don't know, to be fair, I saw Alan Menken post about this the other day, and I thought for some reason it was only happening in New York and didn't realize it was happening here. I should have read closer. If I knew it was down the street, I probably would have made an effort to go, because I fully support the WGA strike. I'm a SAG-AFTRA member myself, so my union fully supports the strike, and hopefully fair wages for writers and everybody else that is going to affect, because it will affect every other entertainment industry union for streaming, because, got to figure this crap out.
I think your strike authorizations come in. You get to vote soon.
Yeah, I just got the email to vote, so... Yep. None of this is good news, Kyle.
Been your bad news report.
Yeah, and special edition episodes of DCTC are not super common, but I've had to do 2 this year.
The last one was Chapek.
Yeah, the Chapek one, not this year. I should say 2 in the past 12 months. So yeah, this is not
the fiscal year.
Kyle. Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much, Kyle, for taking the time to hop on here. I know that you've been dealing with this all day with your work at Laughing Place. And thank you. Let me just actually say something. I might sound excited by this. Please know that this is just me, this is my energy coming through. I'm not happy about any of this. So if it sounds gleeful, please don't take it that way. This is terrible crap. And I don't know. I'm flabbergasted. Not flubbergasted, Kyle. I'm flabbergasted. Are you going to
send your condolences to Don?
I honestly want to message him and be like, I need a copy of your movie. Because that is one that if it were on Blu-ray, before this news, I 1,000% would have bought it. And hopefully he owns, I don't know if he owns the rights. I don't know if he could do that on his own.
Well, that's the thing. If they remove it to take a write down, I don't think they can sell it off because then they don't get the write down. So they'd have to sell it for a price that they think makes sense.
I will just reiterate, piracy is not right, Kyle. It's not right. But sometimes there are no other options.
With, Napster and LimeWire and Kazaa, so I know that piracy is wrong.
Sometimes there are no other options. And let's just say, in my family, when they gave us free Disney Channel for a week, we may or may not have unplugged that cable the day we knew it was going away to keep it for another couple of weeks. We might have done
I didn't know that was a thing that was possible. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day of like cable, where you literally had a cable going into a cable box.
These are Bostonian secrets.
No, this was nationwide secrets. You basically unplugged the cable so that when they zapped the signal to shut off the free, when you plugged it back in the next day, you still had the free. And of course, like, later on, they would send the zap signal and you wouldn't know when it was coming. But yeah, we'd get a few extra weeks of Disney Channel that way. Oh, man. That's like statute of limitations on that stuff is far gone, right? I think it's fair. Sure, I think it's fine. Anywho, and besides, it wasn't me, it was my parents. Deal with them.
There you go.
But Kyle, thank you so much, and I will talk to you later.
Be well.